Mags, of course, a frustrating result for you to take this afternoon, but what's your immediate reflection on that?
Yeah, frustration's a good word. I felt like the effort and the application that the boys put into the game deserved more. However, you can't win games just on effort alone. I felt like between both boxes it was fairly even. Both sides played some good stuff, but they were more clinical and they had better quality in key moments in the final third. Our decision making was poor in critical moments, and that didn't allow us to take the game away from them. The goals that we concede, without being too critical, I think individuals can do better, so we'll look at that. But I think that we had a lot of success in the first half. Particularly, we were high tempo, we were aggressive and wanted to try and stop them playing high up the pitch. I think we did that with good success, but then maybe a case of as the game went on, a lot of players playing and we've been out for long periods of time, and we maybe failed to sustain that level of intensity for the full 90 minutes. But even then, we still created a number of opportunities in terms of, I think we had a 3v1 at one stage with Brandon. The execution and the decision is wrong. We had a number of moments where we broke through the middle of the pitch, and like I say, our decision making and end product just wasn't quite there. But they've emptied the tank. That's quite clear. That's what we've had recently. Players leaving everything out on the pitch, which is from that point of view, it's pleasing. But ultimately, we just lacked that quality and that killer instinct in the final third.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned obviously the chances you created through the game. Obviously, like you say, you had the first goal. I think there was a one with a chance to go 2-0 up in the first half as well. A few in the second. I mean, you mentioned that the quality sort of letting you down a little bit in the final third in that respect. But I know it's probably a cliche, but is it a positive on that front that obviously those chances are coming in the first place? You're creating those chances, you're getting into those positions and getting those opportunities, and it's obviously just the finishing touch that's eluded you a little bit.
Yeah, look, we went toe-to-toe with a very good side, a team that's been settled for long periods throughout the season. Have a specific way they want to play, and I've watched a lot of teams, and including us, the way we went down their place, maybe give them a little bit too much respect. We wanted to, really try and impose ourselves and get in their faces, really, and I felt like we were having success doing that. Like I say, I think just over the course of the game, as well as those critical moments where they took their moments better than we did, we looked like we weren't able to sustain that intensity throughout. So loads to be pleased about. There's no doubt about that. Lots to take from the game. It's building again from 2 wins, and of course we're gutted not to get anything from the game, but there's still a lot of positives to take from it, and in a obviously heavy schedule with the game Monday and then 2 huge games. It's good that we've got things to feed back on from the performance, and like I say, the performances are a lot better. We're a lot more happy coming off the pitch from what we're seeing from performances, but we need to make sure that we get the wins that are required that allow us to compete in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Monday coming up there, of course, a quick turnaround for you, and you allude to obviously trying to get into the playoffs. Things are obviously still in your hands on that front in terms of getting results, which wouldn't have you looking around at what everyone else is doing. You can still do things yourselves. So really, how he is just looking ahead to Monday now. I mean, of course, recovery and things like that for the boys will obviously be paramount on that front, and a couple of boys sort of that you weren't able to use today on sort of knocks and injuries in that front as well.
Yeah, disappointing in terms of selection. George was unavailable today. He's got a hip issue. He sort of went down quite hard on the AstroTurf, so he didn't pass fit for the game, unfortunately. We're hoping that it's not too long term, so maybe for Monday, I don't know at this point. Tinks, unfortunately, we lost for the season. Ethan Robson, of course, as well, who obviously has had a brief loan spell, but he'll probably go back now. So yeah, injuries and not being able to field a settled side has sort of hit us again when we thought we'd turn the corner with that. But we just got to go forward the best we can. Obviously, Monday is a massive game. 2 local sides, the atmosphere will be good. It'll be a challenging game from a physical perspective again. Big side and set pieces will be key. So yeah, we know what to expect, and hopefully we'll have more news tomorrow in terms of what we can field and what team we can go with, because we want to try and just get some consistency and some continuity. That back line, including the goalkeeper, has suffered massively, and you've seen how important they can be when they're settled and they're together as a unit. So any changes that we're having to make, enforced changes, aren't ideal at this point, but we're quite clear in terms of what we need to do for Monday, and it'll be a massive game for us.